What happens when a legend decides the story isn't quite over yet? When a player who's already carved his name into Philadelphia Eagles history says, "You know what, I've got a little more left in the tank." Well, that's exactly what's happening right now in Philly, as Brandon Graham, yes, that Brandon Graham, steps back onto the scene, ready to breathe fire into a defense that's been looking for that old-school spark. Now, the Eagles are sitting at 6-2, perched on top of the NFC East, but let's be honest, it hasn't been all smooth flying. Between trade deadline drama, A.J. Brown's injury, and questions about the team's edge rush, it's been a roller coaster few weeks at the NovaCare complex. But just when things started to feel a bit shaky, a familiar face walked back into the locker room, and with him came that signature smile, that voice, and that relentless energy that made Brandon Graham a Philadelphia icon. But here's the twist. Not everyone in the league is convinced that his return will make a difference. According to Fox Sports insiders Ralph Vacchiano and Eric Williams, an anonymous NFC scout had some pointed words about the Eagles' decision to bring Graham out of retirement. "Getting Brandon Graham back is a nice story," the scout said, "but he's a part-time player who will only marginally help their pass rush. They're getting no push off the edge, and Howie knows they can't win that way." Ouch. That's a bold take, but it's one that Philly fans are taking personally. Because if there's one thing this city knows, it's that you never count out Brandon Graham. Let's rewind for a second. Graham isn't just another veteran trying to hang on. He's the guy who strip-sacked Tom Brady in Super Bowl 52, the play that sealed the Eagles' first-ever Lombardi trophy. He's been through every high and low, from injuries that almost derailed his career to Pro Bowl seasons where he was one of the most feared defensive ends in the game. And at 37, coming out of retirement, he knows exactly what people are saying, and that's what fuels him. In his own words earlier this week, Graham told reporters he's not worried about stats. "I've been doubted before," he said. "People said I was done years ago, and I kept showing up. I'm just here to help this team win, however they need me." That's the heart of it. His value isn't just in sacks or tackles. It's in leadership, in presence, in the voice that keeps a locker room grounded when the outside noise gets loud. You talk to guys like Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelce, or Devonta Smith, and they'll all tell you the same thing. Graham brings something you can't measure on a stat sheet. He's already taken rookie Jihad Campbell under his wing, teaching him the ins and outs of what it means to play the Philly way. And if you know anything about the Eagles' culture, from Reggie White to Brian Dawkins to Malcolm Jenkins, you know that leadership lineage matters. Graham is the bridge between eras, the living embodiment of that next man up mentality that defines the city. Now, about that scout's comment. Sure, it's fair to question whether a 37-year-old can still bring it off the edge in today's NFL. But history has a funny way of proving scouts wrong, especially in Philadelphia. Remember Chris Long in 2017? He was supposed to be a rotational guy, and he ended up being a key force in that Super Bowl run. Brandon Graham could play that exact role again, a veteran weapon who doesn't need 50 snaps a game to make an impact. He just needs one moment. And speaking of moments, we might not have to wait long to see one. The Eagles bye week gives Graham some extra time to get his legs under him, and sources say he could suit up as early as Week 10 against the Green Bay Packers. That's a matchup that could turn into a defensive showcase, especially if the Eagles' pass rush finds its groove again. Let's not forget, before his injury last season, Graham wasn't just hanging around, he was producing. 3.5 sacks in 11 games, 7 quarterback hits, and constant pressure that doesn't always show up in the box score. Even if he only gives Philly 15 to 20 quality snaps a game, those could be the snaps that swing momentum in December, or in a playoff chase where every play counts. And here's something fans in Philly understand better than most. Sometimes, it's not about the numbers. It's about the vibe. It's about having that guy in the huddle who looks everyone in the eye and says, "We've done this before. We can do it again." For weeks, the Eagles' locker room has felt tense. Trade rumors, injuries, questions about chemistry. But with Graham's return, something feels different. The energy's lighter. The music's louder. The laughs are back. Even head coach Nick Sirianni admitted that Graham brings an energy that's contagious. And that's where this story becomes bigger than football. Because in a league obsessed with analytics and advanced metrics, there's still room for heart, and Graham has always had plenty of that. He represents what makes the Eagles. Grit, loyalty, and an unshakable belief that no one outside the locker room defines them. Now, of course, Howie Roseman isn't done. Expect the Eagles GM to keep exploring trade options up to the deadline. Maybe adding another pass rusher or reinforcing the secondary. But even if new names arrive, it's the old name, Brandon Graham, who's setting the tone. And if you ask the fans down on South Broad Street, they'll tell you. Sometimes, one leader is worth more than any trade. Think about it. The Eagles are 6-2 without even playing their best football. A.J. Brown's been sidelined, the defense has looked uneven, and yet, they're still standing tall in one of the toughest divisions in football. The Dallas Cowboys are lurking, the Giants are fading, and the Commanders are in transition. This is Philly's division to lose. And now, with Graham back in the fold, maybe that's the emotional push they've been missing. He's the glue guy, the motivator, the player who reminds everyone, from rookies to veterans, that the name on the front of the jersey means something. So to that anonymous scout out there, be careful betting against number 55. Because history tells us, whenever people doubt Brandon Graham, he writes his own ending. And if this really is his last dance in Midnight Green, don't be surprised if he makes it one to remember. So Philly fans, get ready. The chant's getting louder again. Fly Eagles Fly is echoing through the city, and with Brandon Graham back where he belongs, the Eagles are ready to soar, one more time.